Why? Well, to trying to spin the news into wins. Why? I don't know. But she started off strong, talking about how President Trump is going to now go to Florida tomorrow to visit Alligator Alcatraz. You know, the new detention facility in the Florida Everglades. Play the clip.
On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history.
I'm really not even sure how to respond to that. First of all, just think about the name. It's almost like a cartoon, right? Alligator Alcatraz. Basically what they're saying is anybody who wants to try to escape, expect to be eaten by alligators. It's in a remote, desolate area, of course, because it's uninhabitable. Meanwhile, a reporter then told Caroline about a new app that people are using to alert other individuals of ICE activity near them. I mean, you really have to give people credit. They created this app immediately in order to warn others. It's almost like one of these neighborhood watch type apps. Reporters saw CNN ended up doing a segment on the app, and Caroline used it as an opportunity to attack CNN. Play the clip.
I just watched a CNN segment on a new app called Ice Block, and it kind of appeared to be promoting this app where you can tell people where ICE agents are. Given the recent rise...
An app that tells people where ICE agents are?
Yes. And given the rise, I believe, 500% increase in assaults on ICE agents, I wanted to see if you could comment on that and why CNN would be promoting such an app.
Well, it's a very good question. I'll have to go back and watch the clip myself, but surely it sounds like this would be an incitement of further violence against our ICE officers. As you know, as you stated, there's been a 500% increase in violence against ICE agents, law enforcement officers across the country who are just simply trying to do their jobs and remove public safety threats from our communities. And that's something we as Americans, including journalists at CNN who live in many of these cities where illegal aliens are hiding and were let in from the previous administration, should be very grateful for. So we haven't seen the clip. We'll take a look at it, but certainly it's unacceptable that a major network would promote such an app that is encouraging violence against law enforcement officers who are trying to keep our country safe.
Caroline?
Well, I'm not so sure that they're promoting violence, but I'm shocked that she didn't, turn around and say that they're aiding and abetting the assistance of illegals that are required to be deported and therefore hold CNN accountable. I'm not sure that they're going after ICE agents in this app. It's more as a warning to individuals that if you're in that area, beep, beep, beep. It's like an Amber Alert, except it's not a child that's been taken. It's ICE that's in the neighborhood. Now, Caroline then used a prop to talk about the Jerome Powell. I mean, the prop in question is literally a blown up picture of Trump's Truth Social post. Play the clip.
The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies.
The president has not been shy about acting on things that he believes in. Why not just fire Jerome Powell and put in somebody that is going to lower rates? Why wait?
Well, it's a good question, and one you can ask the president because that's a decision for him to make. But you're right to point out the politicization of the Fed, and it's very unfortunate for our country. But Jerome Powell cut rates numerous times ahead of the election when Joe Biden was in this Oval Office, but now he refuses to, and the economy is in a much better place.
Yeah, first of all, clearly a plant. That's not the way the system works. The president cannot just fire Jerome Powell. That's already been produced, and it's been explained. Now, Peter Doocy then asked Caroline if Trump wants Zohan Mamdani, we'll call him Democratic nominee for mayor here in New York City, deported. Play the clip.
Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. Does President Trump want Zoran Mamdani deported?
I haven't heard him say that. I haven't heard him call for that. But certainly he does not want this individual to be elected. I was just speaking to him about it and his radical policies that will completely crush New York City, which is obviously a city that the president holds near and dear to his heart.
There's this.
Yeah, look, he then continued to talk about a song that Mamdani had written in 2017. And if Pam Bondi should investigate it for terrorism. Play that clip.
There's this Congressman Andy Ogles who wants the Attorney General Bondi to explore denaturalization proceedings because he thinks Mamdani could have misrepresented or concealed material support for terrorism based on rap lyrics he wrote in 2017. Does President Trump think this is a worthwhile use of the Attorney General's time?
Well, I'll let the president speak to that. I have not seen those claims, but surely if they are true, it's something that should be investigated.
Yeah, everything should be investigated. Meanwhile, reporter then asked Caroline about the status of 90 deals in 90 days. Things that are kind of important to you and to me and to America. Play the clip.
We've been hearing from White House officials for weeks that you're close on trade deals with a number of countries. Can we get any update on which countries will have deals by the 9th and when there may be any announcements?
I'll let the president and the trade team speak on it.
Yeah, of course. 90 deals in 90 days. Look, if they were able to make it happen, she would be the first one standing up there, right? Pumped up, saying, President did it. The team did it. It was an unrealistic statement. And as a direct result, there's what? One partial trade deal with a country that we actually were making money on. We were a positive, a net positive country, not a net negative. Meanwhile, another reporter goes on and asks Caroline about the TikTok deal. Play that clip.
You know, on TikTok, if you could real quick, he said yesterday he's got a buyer, but the question there is, does he have a seller? Do you have any indication from the Chinese government that they've authorized a sale of TikTok to the U.S. or to U.S. buyers?
What I can tell you is that these discussions with China regarding the sale of TikTok have been ongoing at the highest level, and they will continue. As you know, we have another 90-day extension, and it's just to continue to work out this deal and make sure that TikTok stays on for the American people. That's the president's main goal in this, while protecting their privacy and their security. Behind you. Go ahead. Thanks.
Look, now, as I showed you in a video from this morning, Tom Tillis, Senator Tillis, said that the big, beautiful bill will ultimately betray Trump's promises to protect Medicaid. It's a big problem. Reporter then asked Caroline about Tillis's comments. Wait till you see this one. Play the clip.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. What is the White House's response to Senator Tillis's criticism articulated from the Senate floor yesterday, in which he said passing the big, beautiful bill would betray President Trump's promise to protect Medicaid?
Well, he is just wrong. And the president and the vast majority of Republicans who are supportive of this legislation are right. This bill protects Medicaid, as I laid out for you, for those who truly deserve this program, the needy, pregnant women, children, sick Americans who physically cannot work. And what it does is it ensures that able-bodied Americans who can work 20 hours a week are actually doing so, and that will therefore strengthen and protect those benefits for Americans who need it, as well as cutting out the waste, fraud, and abuse, as well as getting 1.4 million illegal aliens off of the program. So all of those measures are actually going to protect it for those who need it. That's the president's position, and that's what this bill does, and that's why Republicans need to vote for it and get it to the president's desk.
That kind of criticism from a Republican senator, is that reason for concern for the passage of this?
No, it's not. We're confident this bill is going to be back at the White House by the 4th of July. Stephen.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions.
Yeah, let me just say, whether it's the 4th of July or the 14th of July or August 1st, what's the difference? This is a major piece of legislation. And I don't want anybody to think that this is like one of Trump's executive orders. It is not. This is a 1,000-page bill. And anytime that you're going to have 1,000 pages, you know that there's going to be rewrites. I mean, there's no way in the world that there are, no change is going to be made to 1,000 pages. Because not every state has the same issue, as not every community has the same as even in their own state. So there's going to be a lot of negotiating that's going to be going on. What I would like to know is, why are the Democrats not speaking to Republicans? Why are Republicans not speaking to Democrats? And just to steal a term from Donald, create a deal. Make a deal that works for everybody. Okay, fine. You're not going to get everything you want, but you're not going to get nothing either. This win-win at 100% or lose-lose at 100%, it doesn't work for you or for me. Now, meanwhile, Caroline then, of course, defended Trump, and she lied. She just lied that the bill would strengthen Medicaid. It does not. All right, let me be clear. It does not. And why they have to lie about this, I don't know. Play the clip.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. On the reconciliation bill, Senator Tillis from the floor yesterday seemed to suggest President Trump was getting bad counsel on the effects of the bill. Is President Trump aware of the analyses, and there are several of these, that suggest if rural hospitals potentially close, if there are Medicaid patients in the millions that become ineligible for that?
Yes, and that claim is just simply untrue. Rural hospitals comprise 7% of all hospital spending on Medicaid, and that illustrates that they have not benefited from the massive increase of waste, fraud, and abuse under the Biden administration. So this bill strengthens Medicaid. It will protect those benefits that hardworking Americans need, and that's why the president wants this bill to pass. The senator was wrong. The president put out a Truth Social post addressing it, and then the senator announced he's no longer running for office anymore. So I think that case has been closed, and the White House is continuing to focus on getting this legislation to the president's desk for his signature.
Nothing is closed because he's choose not to run in 2026. He's got a year and a half left. Nothing has changed. And in fact, her comment is ridiculous. And another reporter then goes and asks her about a measure in the bill about wind and solar projects. She obviously has not read the bill. Play the clip.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the president support this new measure in the big, beautiful bill that would impose steep new taxes on new wind and solar projects?
I believe you're referring to the credits for wind and solar projects. And
we're talking about the new tax. There's a new tax that it's estimated would add 10 to 20% to the cost of any new wind and solar projects that start after this year.
Again, I don't want to comment on the specifics of provisions, but I'm sure the president will speak on that directly. Again, this is an ongoing process. The president continues to be very much engaged with the leadership in both the Senate and the House to get this bill back to his desk.
Did the president ask for that provision? Because the National Building Trades Union is saying that it's the equivalent of terminating more than 1,000 Keystone XL pipeline projects. Is that something that would concern him?
Well, the president spoke on this yesterday in his interview, and he said he understands that legislators want to protect jobs in their communities and in their districts. And so he understands why some of them are against this provision, but he also understands why people want the provision. So again, this is an ongoing deliberation and discussion, and the president is engaged in this very much. Go ahead.
And that's why you're going to hear me continuously say, we need to steal the line from Trump. Negotiate. Make a deal. Both sides. It's the first thing that I'm agreeing with Caroline Levitt on, that there are legislators that are trying to protect their communities, their jobs, and so on, while others turn around and say, I don't really care. And that's why all parties need to come to the table. They need to strike a deal for the benefit of the American people. And as always, thanks for listening.